All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Jeff Ryan, and I want to send a big thank you out to all the candidates for running and taking the time to be here tonight. As citizens, having the right to choose their leaders through election is one of our most sacred values. I want to thank Community Access Media, in particular Ben Smith, for providing coverage of this event so that all residents have an opportunity to view tonight's event. I also want to thank the school department for allowing us to use the auditorium and the facility tonight. I want to thank the Board of Selectmen's office, in particular David Gagney, Assistant Town Administrator and HR Director Linda Torres, and Executive Assistant Christine Eaton for coordinating the schedule of events and planning tonight. Tonight's candidates for non-competitive races will be given approximately 2 minutes to present themselves to you, the voters, and explain why they are running. There will be no questions for these candidates as they are running unopposed. After the candidates speak, a 10-minute debate for a contested race, Housing Authority, will be held. Unfortunately, only one candidate for the Housing Authority race was available tonight. As event facilitator, I will moderate the event. If anyone has any questions pertaining to the debate, please write them down and hand them to the town clerk, Ann Iannatelli, who's sitting in the front row. If time allows, I'll ask those questions to the candidate. All questions will be asked through me. No direct questions will be asked to the candidate. Some questions have previously been submitted via email. These questions will be asked first to the candidate. The previous submitted questions have not been shared with anyone. The candidates will get 2 minutes for an opening statement and 2 minutes for a closing statement. The candidate will get 2 minutes to respond to questions. When there is 1 minute left, the town administrator, David Gagney, in the front row, will hold up a green card informing the candidate. When time has elapsed, the town administrator will hold up a red card. At that point, I'll ask the candidate to stop speaking. The annual town election is on Saturday, April 13th at the Spring Street School. Polls are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is new and adjusted time, so one more time, I will say the polls are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. There is a vote by mail and absentee ballot option for this election. There is no early voting in person. Please contact the town clerk's office for more information or to request an application. The deadline to apply for vote by mail ballot or an absentee ballot is Monday, April 8th at 5 p.m. The deadline to vote absentee in person is Friday, April 12th by noon. All ballots must be returned by 5 p.m. on April 13th, 2024 in order to be counted. You can vote absentee for the following reasons. A registered voter who will be unable to vote at the polls on election day due to absence from the voter's city or town during polling hours, disability, or religious beliefs. Now that we have all that out of the way, let's get started. Our first candidate to come up and speak this evening is our town clerk, Ann Iannatelli.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ann Iannatelli, and I've been town clerk for 9 years now. I can't believe that, but I'm running for re-election this year. And even though I'm running unopposed, I would appreciate it if you gave me a vote. A vote would show that you think I'm doing a good job. So we'll see you at the polls on April 13th. The polls will be open from 9 to 5 at the Spring Street School. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next on the ballot would be moderator and Jason Ross. Jason couldn't be here this evening. Moving down onto school committee, Robin Fraser Dragonetti. Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Robin Dragonetti. Some of you know me. I've lived in town for about 10 years now, and I am running for re-election this year on the school committee. I have lived in town for about 10 years, as I said, with my husband and my 2 daughters, both of whom attend the West Bridgewater Public Schools. Professionally, I'm a speech and language pathologist. I've been working as one for the last 17 years. I have a master's degree from Northeastern University And I've been practicing for the last 12 in public education, which I think is one of the qualities that makes me unique for this position. In addition to my service on the school committee and my professional and my personal life, I also volunteer with the Girl Scouts. Some of you have seen us out there. My girls have hit you up for cookies in the winter months. And honestly, this is actually probably the best piece of service that I can give to the community, because over the last 8 years, I've been able to teach girls how to serve their community and act in a way that will shape them into the leaders that we hope to see in the future. I've been on the committee for 3 years now. I've served primarily at the in the budget subcommittee and the policy subcommittee, and I've learned a lot. Somebody told me when I first started out practicing as an SLP, it's going to take you about 3 years to know what you're doing and to feel confident. And I feel that that is genuinely true. So with 3 years under my belt, I have goals for the next 3 years that I can continue my work on both of these committees, reviewing policies and auditing district practices and procedures to make sure that we are best using our available resources so that we can provide education to all students of all backgrounds and all abilities, and not just in education, but the quality education that we've come to know as West Bridgewater. So I appreciate your vote in a couple of weeks, and I will see you at the polls. Thank you.
Thank you. For school committee this year, we can vote up to 2 people. And the second person is Kara Joy Lazardi. Come on up, Kara.
Hi, my name is Kara Lazardi. I have lived in West Bridgewater for about 8.5 years now. I grew up next door in East Bridgewater, so I'm very familiar with the area. I am a stay-at-home mom to my 2 young girls who are both in the public school system, one in 2nd grade at Roselle and one in preschool about to enter kindergarten next year. Before I chose to stay home with my children, I worked in banking for over 13 years. So I am very business-minded. I am detail-oriented. I went to school in public school system, as most of us have, but also my parents were both public school teachers. So I have a unique perspective and a sounding board to sound off of that many people don't. I've had very good relationships thus far with teachers and staff in the school systems, and I would like to continue to broaden those relationships. I really think that what I can bring to the school committee, like I said, my business-minded thinking, I am very analytical, and I will strive to work with the other committee members to make informed decisions that benefit the students and the town of West Bridgewater. I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Kara. Next on the ballot is trustee of public library. And first is Deborah A. Lancaster, who is not here tonight. Also on the list for, also on the ballot for trustee of public library is Timothy Andrew Churchill. And that is another position where 2 votes can be cast, up to 2 votes can be cast for the library trustees. Moving along, water commissioner, Arthur S. Cabral.
Hi. Yeah, we'll make this work. Okay, I'm Art Cabral, Chairman of the Water Commission. I figured since we're not taking questions, I'd use this to give you a quick update on what's been going on at the Water Department. First thing, first Monday and third Monday, 5 o'clock, we hold our meetings down at the Water Commission. Anybody's welcome to come. If you can't come and you were interested in what's going on, the same people who are taping this tonight tape our meetings, and we have those up. One of the big issues we've had in the past couple of years, I'm sure you've gotten your notices about the PFAS in the water system. We currently have the Manley Street plant, which was the one we had the bigger issue at, is running is treating the PFAS. We've basically gotten that out of the system. You may notice a little bit of a chlorine smell or taste if you're living in that area that treatment plant supplies. That's because part of what we had to do to change the treatment process, we had to increase our disinfection to meet state regulations. So Wayne, the superintendent, is trying to keep it as low as he can because he knows most people don't want to have that chlorine taste or smell. But we have to do what we have to do to meet the regulations. We're also currently out to bid on a permanent solution there that's going to actually add a building and a couple of additional treatment units so that they'll last, a good long time. We won't have to change out the filters as often. We also have another project at the wells down for Norman Ave and Sear Street for a treatment plant there, primarily to address color issues. If you live off of Matfield Street, that's one of the areas we typically get water, quality complaints. You get color in your water. What we have down there basically just isn't enough to keep up with the change in the water quality. So now we're going to be building a treatment plant down there. We're trying to push these things together right now because the state is being very generous with some of their funding programs, and we're trying to take advantage so that we can take care of the problem and have as minimal an impact as we possibly can on the rates. If you do notice an issue with your water, please call the office. If it's after business hours, the call still gets recorded, and it also will forward to the cell phone that either the superintendent or his assistant will have, so we can at least get the information. That way, if there's a lot of times if you have bad quality, it's because we got a break. Something happened in the system. The sooner we know, the better. So instead of going on the hub and putting the information out there, if you can't, give us a call. It gets logged. It helps us respond to what we need to respond to. And again, first and third Monday of the month, 5 o'clock. And if it's Monday's a holiday, it moves to the Tuesday after. So hopefully give me your vote in a couple of weeks. And
Thank you, Art. Next on the ballot would be Board of Health, and running is John F. Cruz, and he is not present tonight. Next after Board of Health on the ballot is Board of Assessors, and Cheryl A. Smith is running and also not present tonight. Following Board of Assessors on the ballot is Tree Warden, Timothy J. Hay.
Good evening. I'm Timothy Hay. I'm running for Tree Warden. I wish to introduce myself to the voters of West Bridgewater and give you a little bit of my background. My wife and I have lived in West Bridgewater since 2000. I have 3 children who have all gone through the West Bridgewater public school system. I've been a Massachusetts certified horticulturalist since 1992. I have held my Massachusetts pesticide license since 1998. I am also Massachusetts invasive pest certified through the University of Massachusetts. I have been a member of the Massachusetts Nursery and Landscape Association since 1986, served as past president and on their board of directors from 2010 to 2020. I am also a member of the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissioners, and I have worked with the Department of Agriculture for the Animal and Plant Pest Quarantine Service, dealing with the Asian longhorn beetle quarantine and research in Worcester County. I'm familiar with the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation Forestry Program and their woodlot management program. I am familiar with Chapter 61A, both agriculture and forestry programs within the state. I've been a member of the Agricultural Commission in town since 2018, and I've been on the Conservation Commission since 2006. I wish to expand the Tree City USA program in the town of West Bridgewater, as well as increase our urban forestry diversity in town. Increasing threats from the changing climate, invasive pests, and land development, we all need to take those into account and be able to manage our natural resources to the best ability that we have, especially our urban forestry. I'd appreciate your vote in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. Following tree warden on the ballot is the planning board. And running is Anthony J. Kinahan. He is not here tonight. Following the planning board on the ballot is the board of selectmen. And running is Marcy M. Lee.
Hello, my name is Marcy Lee, and I'm running for West Bridgewater Board of Selectmen. I'm running for selectman because I love this town. It really is that simple. I want to give back to the community that's given so much to myself and my family. About 7 years ago, I was asked to be the ADA coordinator for the town, and I accepted, right away. I know how important it is for residents to get involved in town, and I know that we have a shortage of residents getting involved in town right now. So that's when I was asked, and I didn't hesitate to step up. Many in town are unaware that without an ADA coordinator, the ADA committee would have been unable to apply for, never mind receive, any grants from the state. Since my appointment, we have received 3 grants from the state, the ADA committee has. And I think it's really important. It highlighted for me how important it is for residents to step up and get involved. And I'm going to continue to encourage and support any resident who's willing to do so. Sorry, a little nervous first time. I am definitely not a seasoned politician. However, if elected, I will be committed to engaging with the residents. I believe that keeping the residents informed about what's going on in town is really important. Many times, residents are unaware or they're misinformed about the things that are going on in town. That's why when Jeff Ryan started the WB Town Communications Committee, I requested to be on that committee. I wanted to be a member of that committee because I knew how important it was to improve the communication with the residents regarding urgent and non-urgent matters in town. Fiscal responsibility is also very important to me. I want to ensure that when the town makes financial decisions for the residents, they're making them for all of the residents. I encourage anyone who wants to know more about me to view my Meet the Candidates video. It's on the public access channel as well as YouTube. I can also be reached at marcylee@gmail.com for any residents that have any questions or concerns. And I just want to thank everybody that came out tonight and everybody that put this together. I know that it's really difficult to organize schedules, as evidenced by the lack of people here today. So I just want to thank everybody. I know it's not easy putting yourself out there like that, and I wish everybody luck, and I hope to see everybody at the polls on April 13th.
Thank you, Marcy. So that doesn't conclude the evening, but that does conclude the portion of the program of unopposed candidates. At this time, we're going to move to the last item on the ballot, which would be the Housing Authority. 2 candidates are running for 1 position. The 2 candidates are Raymond S. Rogers and Edward L. Breeley. Ed introduced himself to me as Chip earlier tonight, so I will call you Chip moving forward. So Ed, you get a couple minutes to introduce yourself. And then I've got 3 questions that have been submitted for you to answer, and we'll go through those. But right now, a couple minutes to just inform the voters of who you are.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome. My name's Edward Breeley, alias Chip. I live at 189 Matfield Street and have been a resident of West Bridgewater for 40 years. I've been involved in the community through Boy Scouts, YAA, the High School Boosters Club. My home is situated on the corner of Matfield Street and Esther Drive, with the senior housing complex in my backyard. Over the past 40 years, I've seen many changes, from strictly West Bridgewater senior citizens to a complete complex that is overseen by the state, which allows 15% of the population to be under the age of 60. My concern in running for a position on the West Bridgewater Housing Authority Board is that we are able to maintain a safe environment for all residents. One goal that I would like to see is that there be more open communication between the board, the state, and the local authorities. That would help have a very safe environment for the whole neighborhood. Thank you.
No
Jeff.
problem. Thank you. So we've got 3 questions, and honestly, you probably just touched on 2 of them, if not 3 of them already. But the questions are written in there in front of me, so I am going to ask them to you, and maybe it gives you an opportunity to expand a little bit. But the first question was, tell us a little about yourself.
Myself?
Yes.
Okay. I came from the Boston area. I moved down here with my wife of 52 years. She became a teacher at the Brockton school system. I became the superintendent of Brockton Country Club and was a golf course superintendent for over 25 years. Then I went into golf construction. In that time, working in the community in many different facets, especially the biggest one was with the high school boosters club. We raised enough money so that all the students of those 4 years did not have to pay a penny towards their sports fees that was incorporated back then. So we had a very ambitious group at that time, and we did a lot of work within the community. Plus, I was with the Boy Scouts because I have 2 boys who are now in their 40s. They were both Boy Scouts, and I worked with them. And then I was a coach on the baseball teams in the YAA.
Very good. Thank you very much. Next question that was submitted. And as before I ask this question, I also remind the audience that there is some pen and paper up here. Should you have a question that you want to submit, it is right on the front of the stage, and you can take it and fill out your question and submit it to the town clerk, and we will go from there. Second question to ask, why did you decide to run for the Housing Authority?
Well, I've noticed, like I said in my thing, that over the time that I've lived there, and since the state is now overseeing the Housing Authority, and the certain individuals being placed in the Housing Authority by the state, I've known many changes. In 1 week alone, there were four incidents the police had to respond to in there from the younger generation. One of them was an arrest, and so I see it's been a very safe neighborhood and community down there. I want to make sure that it stays that way, and that whoever is involved with the director, that the state knows what's really taking place. Right now, there is no communication on that matter.
Okay, thank you very much. Final question, pre-submitted question, anyhow. And again, you've probably answered this in some form, but nonetheless, what do you hope to accomplish if elected?
Accomplishing what?
What do you hope to accomplish if elected?
Just what I was referring to.
I understand that. I was just obligated to ask that question. Seeing no other questions at this time, I do believe you have a minute or 2 for a conclusion, if you'd like. And then we'll probably wrap up the evening after that. So if you have anything else you want to say.
I think I've pretty much hit everything on what I would like to do and see, because I know just about every resident down there. I've had some good communication. My mother-in-law used to live there, so that's how I met a lot of people. But it's a great housing complex, and I'd like to see it stay that way.
Super. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As we conclude the evening tonight, I want to first say thank you. As you can tell, most of the races tonight were unopposed, and I want to thank the candidates that took the time to come here tonight. knowing that they're running unopposed and knowing that they probably didn't have to come here to succeed on the ballot. I just want to reach out and say thank you for taking the time. I think it's very valuable to share who you are and what you're about with the voters, regardless of the situation of your race. So once again, thank you to everybody who came up here and spoke briefly tonight. Again, I want to thank Christine, David, Annie, and Linda, who's not here, for putting this on this evening. This is the 10th or 11th or 12th candidate night. It is something that this 10th, 11th, or 12th, somewhere in there. This is something that this town does. And having sat up here last year in an opposed race, it definitely gives candidates an opportunity. It gives the voter an opportunity to see the candidate and what the candidate's about. So, and then finally, as everybody here is, relatively speaking, running unopposed, except for that one race, just encourage anybody who's watching this to think about running and think about volunteering your time in town government. It is rewarding. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody one last time, both in the audience and the contestants, the people that are, yeah, I know. But thank everybody who's running this evening. And at this point, I should stop talking because it's just going downhill. I appreciate you all. Have a great evening.